Welcome everyone to Beyond the Adventure. Today's episode is a natural bridge, and let's get started. So for the opening shot here, I want to show you guys the sign for the Natural Bridge State Park. Now, while I do the intro here, when you go and you pay the admission to get into the Natural Bridge State Park, you get this pretty cool self-guided tour pamphlet of Cedar Creek, which is the creek that runs underneath the Natural Bridge. It starts off at a waterfall, which is like a mile or half a mile upstream. Anyways, when you're heading down after you leave like the visitor center slash gift shop slash place where they sell food, you head down a flight of stairs or a couple of flights of stairs, and all the way on your left hand side there's a couple different waterfalls. I believe there was 3 different waterfalls when you head down there. Anyways, you get to the bottom, they have this little gazebo area which wasn't quite open yet for the season, and there in the distance is a natural bridge. This thing was absolutely amazing. I have never seen a natural structure like this. You know, I know that you see them all, you know, out west in the desert and stuff like that, but I've never actually seen something of this magnitude up where I live or up on the eastern part of the United States. Anyways, I'm going to go through this little pamphlet here real quick before I go through it. For some reason or another, I don't know if you guys have ever played the game Halo, but I got this crazy feeling when we were standing underneath the Natural Bridge, like I was in the map Beaver Creek. I don't know how to explain it, but I felt like this area here was inspiration for the map Beaver Creek. I know it wasn't, but it just brought back a bunch of really fond memories of playing Halo back in the day. It was so absolutely amazing. It was so cool being underneath the bridge. There was such a difference in temperature whether you were on one side underneath the bridge or on the other side that was in the shade. Now on the other side here you will actually see there's a bunch of different chairs set up and a bunch of different like benches or pews, whatever you want to call them, and apparently they do light shows and different things. There's the benches right there on the left hand side of the screen, but apparently they do light shows and things like that during the summer months. Somebody also said that there is a fireworks show or something like that, or they put up a projector with movies. Anyways, heading up the creek here towards the Native American village or recreation of a Native American village. Okay, so let me go over this pamphlet right here. So the area has been a travel way for thousands of years, with the Indians passing through as part of their trade route. The Great Road passed a few miles north and took European settlers farther south and west. In the 1800s and 1900s, the bridge was a prominent tourist spot and has housed many different hotels. Now it is a Virginia state park. Natural Bridge still hosts visitors from around the world. And going on to the next thing, the stairs down to Natural Bridge. The tan mineral buildup on the side when you're walking down is called tufa. This is a calcite which was picked up by the creek as it's flowed underground and then deposited into the water, flowed over the rocks. Real quickly, this is the Native American village there. Where is it? This is a recreation of a Monacan town. Stop in and talk to interpreters dressed in period clothing and demonstrating various seasonal activities. And it is a visit throughout the year to see how life changed with the seasons in 1699. The site is open 10 a.m. to 4:45 p.m. April through October, and 10 a.m. to 3:45 November 1st through Thanksgiving. So, some other things about the Natural Bridge, if I can find where it is on here. Where is it? Natural Bridge and all the rock along this trail is made of limestone. The limestone was deposited under a shallow tropical sea almost 1 billion years ago. Right now what you are seeing on the screen is actually a saltpeter cave. If I can find the little pamphlet. Yeah. Saltpeter Cave was formed when a bend in the creek washed away a soft layer of rock. The cave is open during the summer months for guests. And it was an ingredient in gunpowder. Saltpeter is an ingredient in gunpowder. They also use it to tenderize meat and stuff like that. And it's found in bird and bat droppings and from naturally occurring chemicals in the soil. This soil was collected during the War of 1812 and the American Civil War for making gunpowder, and they pretty much completely depleted the reserves of saltpeter that they had in there. Now coming up here, I had just passed the Lost River. Now, Lost River is the name, that is the actual name of the river, and if you guys ever saw the TV show Lost, this reminded me of like the final episode where they have the little stream that's coming out of the heart of the island. You know, the stream just appears out of nowhere and just flows. Couple other cool things that are in here. I don't know where it is, but apparently, okay, right here. The spot of the Natural Bridge was a survey point, and it was conducted in 1750. According to legend, George Washington was part of the survey crew led by Peter Jefferson and Joshua Fry. Supposedly, they climbed up 20 feet and carved his initials into the rock on the creek side of the bridge. There is no conclusive evidence that suggests he was here, but a GW for George Washington is still visible. And then, after Peter Jefferson surveyed the natural bridge, he took stories back to his young nephew, Thomas Jefferson. He visited when he was in his 20s and purchased the natural bridge from King George III on July 5th, 1774. He bought 157 acres, including the bridge, for 20 shillings. The episode's ending right now. I'm just going to finish this out real quick. So he bought 157 acres for 20 shillings. Jefferson owned the property until his death, and it was sold due to his massive debt. It went through many different private owners over the years, and on September 24th, 2016, so just 2 years ago, it became a Virginia state park, meaning it was protected in perpetuity, I can't say that word, just as Jefferson always wanted. Now, the actual waterfall is called Lace Waterfall, and this is one of the best places to see the many layers of the limestone rock and all the types of flora and fauna. You may see giant millipedes making their way across the trail or multiple butterfly species flying by. So the entire distance going from where the visitor center is up into the waterfall, going under the natural bridge, going past the Native American exhibit, and then going all the way up to where the waterfall is a distance of 0.9 miles. So when you go there and back, it is a total of 1.8 miles, almost 2 full miles for the round trip there and back. But overall, very cool experience. I'm so happy that we went there to check that out. Even makes me more excited to go see things out west that look like that. Like inside the desert, you see all the monuments. I forget what exactly they are called, but they are giant like limestone pillars and stuff like that are set out in the desert. Either way, guys, very cool place to visit. I would highly recommend checking it out. And if you missed last week's episode of Adventure Wednesday, we actually saw a millipede, and we saw a bear, and we saw a deer. I'll throw the link up here if you guys want to check that out. That's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, and I will see everybody tomorrow for Thungry Thursday. Peace.